Allora, proseguiamo il nostro appuntamento. Ora è la volta dell'appuntamento Le Colombe di Damasco, di cui non anticipo nulla. Invito solo sul palco a salire la poetessa Clanchy, Shukria Razaei e Giorgia Sensi. Prego. Thank you.
I guess we sit down.
Ok. Buongiorno a tutti, mi sentite bene? Kate Clanchy, Shukria Razaei. In teoria io dovrei intervistarle e poi tradurre quello che loro dicono. In effetti, siccome abbiamo 5 minuti per presentarvi il progetto, prima che Shukria legga le poesie, abbiamo pensato che io vi descrivo questo progetto interamente in italiano e comunque Kate e Shukria mi aiuteranno se per caso mi sbaglio. Tutto è partito da un laboratorio di poesia che Kate ha tenuto nella sua scuola, la scuola che si chiama Oxford Spires Academy. Era una scuola molto speciale perché era fatta soprattutto di studenti rifugiati e lei in questa scuola ha tenuto un laboratorio di poesia. Il risultato di questo laboratorio è il libro England Poems from a School, che è un'antologia delle poesie dei suoi studenti che avevano una conoscenza dell'inglese anche abbastanza limitata. Questo libro in Inghilterra ha avuto un grandissimo successo e io ne ho tradotto una versione italiana che si chiama Le Colombe di Damasco. Ecco perché sono qui oggi insieme a loro. Le Colombe di Damasco riproduce interamente il libro appunto di Kate. L'importanza di questa antologia è appunto che è fatta tutta di studenti immigrati, ragazzi e ragazze, fra cui Shukria, che viene dall'Afghanistan. E abbiamo selezionato per oggi un gruppo di poesie di Shukria che adesso lei leggerà. Did I forget something?
Sounded good to me.
Shukria, ho dimenticato, did I forget something?
No, that's all right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Ok. Shukria ha avuto una vita, per essere così giovane, abbastanza travagliata. Lei viene dall'Afghanistan, dalla etnia degli Hazara, si pronuncia così, Hazara. Gli Hazara sono una etnia dell'Afghanistan particolarmente perseguitata dai talibani e la sua famiglia appunto ha dovuto scappare causa questa persecuzione circa una decina d'anni fa, about 10 years ago you went. Circa una decina d'anni fa, prima il padre di Shukria è fuggito, ci ha messo 3 anni per arrivare nel Regno Unito, poi c'è stato il ricongiungimento familiare. Shukria è arrivata in Inghilterra che praticamente non sapeva l'inglese, si è iscritta a questa scuola in cui Kate insegnava e da allora secondo me ha fatto quasi dei miracoli perché ha scritto delle poesie bellissime, si è laureata in Inghilterra, ha preso un master presso la London School of Economics con una borsa di studio e adesso è qui che ci leggerà le sue poesie. Ok? Grazie.
Do I go?
Penso di sì.
Hello, everyone. As Georgia just beautifully described me there, I'm Shukria. I'm from Afghanistan, and I've lived in the UK for the last 10 or 11 years now. And it's an honor to be here today, and I'll be reading some poems from the book England, Poems from a School. This first poem is called I Want a Poem. I want a poem with the texture of a colander on the pastry, a verse of pastry so rich it leaves gleam on your fingertips, a poem that stings like the splash of boiling oil as you drop the pastry in, a poem that sits on a silver plate with nuts and chocolates served up to guests who sit cross-legged on the toshak. A poem as vibrant as our saffron tea served up at Eid. Let your poetry texture the blank paper like a prism splitting light. Don't leave without seeing all the colors. And this second poem is called A Glass of Tea. It's about my migration. Last year, I held a glass of tea to the light. This year, I swirl like a tea leaf in the streets of Oxford. Last year, I stared into navy blue sky. This year, I'm roaming under colorless clouds. Last year, I watched the dazzling sun dance gracefully. This year, the faint sun moves futurelessly. Migration drove me down this bumpy road, where I fell and smelled the soil, where I arose and sensed the cloud. Now I'm a bird flying in the breeze, lost over the alien earth. Don't stop and ask me questions. Look into my eyes and feel my heart. It's bruised, aching, and sore. My eyes are veiled with onion skin. I sit helplessly in an injured nest, now not knowing how to fix it. And my heart, I'd say, is displaced, struggling to find its place. As Georgia said, I'm from the Hazara ethnic group of Afghanistan who have been persecuted for many decades now, especially so under the Taliban, and this poem is about my people. My Hazara people. I can't write about my Hazara people who have suffered for decades in Afghanistan, where they come from, in Pakistan, where they're murdered, in Iran, where they offend because of their almond-shaped eyes. My mind is blank. I can't write about how loud the shooting was, just 2 miles away from my house, how my aunt fainted, how nervous my mum got, how the cup fell from her hand. I can't write about how innocent people died, how the martyrs' necropolis gets bigger and bigger, how my people suffer, how cruel this world can get, how frightening it is for kids like me. This poem is called Arshak, which is equivalent of a ravioli, and it's me making it with my mum. I hear our teapot pop as the lid is pulled. It's time to unwrap my legs and get my bottom off the toshak. I enter the kitchen with a sigh. Her baggy, wrinkled sleeves are rolled up, the short hairs on her arms dusted in flour. Soft dough is squelched against the thin metal bowl until it's hard enough to crackle like a nutshell. Life molds you in soft and hard shapes. She lays the handmade towel gently on the table. The thin wooden roll-in pin runs over the dough now wider than her arms. The bowl full of finely chopped leek beside her, waiting to be mixed with spices and herbs. Locked in a different world. Life is full of ups and downs. She shouts, "Get your hands moving." I picked up the thin dough circle, shaking off the excess flour to heap helplessly on my slippers. I begin filling in each circle, closing the edges with my fingertips, letting each one go into an ocean of boiling water, steam-filled kitchen choking me. She inspects. The edges aren't fully closed, it's opened. Life is an ocean. If you swim, you will reach your destination. Otherwise, it will pop your inside out. This next poem is me being homesick and just missing home. And yeah, today I thought of my mud house, the rough walls standing tall, the fresh smell of clay on the floor, the scraping of dirt from my shoes. Today I remembered my school, the straight marching lane up and down, the fresh milk in my backpack, churning to butter as I marched. Today I remember my outdoor bathing, the thick stream of water gushing down on my head, my mother's warning about the current's force. Today I miss the jagged roads, the horizons of mountains looming with calming familiarity, the way the sky flowered, the way I used to live. This one is a similar poem, a prose poem, and it just describes my home in Oxford and my home back in Afghanistan. You know the traffic light in the middle of Cowley Road with an old man sitting on the white chair smoking and staring, and in front of it is a bus stop with long queues and impatient people, and the road is thin and long with two different names, Oxford Road and Cowley Road, and busy cars and bicycles and buses going past. This is not home. You know the high rocky mountains with the jagged road and the mud houses down the valley with sheep, goats, chickens and cows in their stables all lowing and waiting to be fed. And in front of the house is a woman chopping up grass so fresh that the smell clings to your nose as you pass by. And when you enter the house that smells of peace and love, you are heartily welcomed and invited to tea and bosrar and kishmish nakhud. This is my home. This poem is to the Taliban. I haven't been to your hell for terrorizing, theft or treachery, for stealing young boys and girls, but I have heard your thundery shootings, the yell of children, the cries of hearts. I haven't touched your grenades or your bullets, nor worn your chain of bullets around my neck and claimed jihad, but I have touched the broken lives, shattered glass, and walked on an injured land where blood oozes and boils until the steam reaches your nostril. I haven't read the Quran you have read, where to kill is fine, but rape is acceptable, where I have read the Quran of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, where killing one person is killing all of humanity. I haven't felt the texture of your hairy face, your stained clothes, stained with bloodshed, stained with sin, heavy with all that is pulling you down. I have felt the texture of the man's white face that you killed. It was like the touch of a cloud. My eyes glitter with the shine of the martyrs. This poem is called My Worst Habit, and my worst habit is drinking too much nostalgia until it becomes bittersweet like the bottom of a tea glass. My past seems rosy, yet afraid to go back. My thoughts lose clarity. I get tangled, knotted up in wonder. How to cure nostalgia? Give it a chance to relieve your pressure. How to cure a bad habit? Send it back to yourself. Don't let nostalgia tighten your throat. Take sips of your memories all day and all night. And the last poem is called I Shall Go Back, and hopefully I will be able to go back one day. I shall put the suitcase full of gifts I have promised down on the floor, the gifts they have been waiting for. I shall see their smiles. I shall hang the flowers that my cousins, uncles, and aunties have put around my neck at the airport on the nail. I shall sit down for dinner with family and breathe the steam of qadid that nourishes you just by its smell. I shall sleep outside in the hot summer night and feel the soft winds holding me, and I shall never wake up with fear of war. I shall hear my mum swooshing the carpet sweeper early in the morning. I shall hear her say, "Wake up, guests are coming, the house needs to be tidy." I shall feel at home once again. Thank you. Thank you.